Hey guys, I wanted to get back into Married at First Sight reunion part two. So we can see that Emily and Brennan are still sitting with Kevin, and they are actually still talking about the rumors. And Emily is just providing clarity that, some of the rumors were that Brennan was trying to sleep with other people, including her best friend. And of course, Brennan is saying none of this is true. Um, But he is also saying that all of these rumors coming up is exactly the reason why they aren't together. It caused the breakdown in their relationship. And Brennan goes on to say that, there was a situation. Now, this was when they were still in the process in pre decision day that they were at, I'm assuming like a bar or something, and someone kissed Emily. And Emily is admitting that, yeah, another man at the bar did kiss her. And this whole relationship uh, was doomed from the beginning, in my opinion. Now, Brennan does say that he was okay to continue to be friends with Emily after the process. He wanted to say no to staying married, but he did want to continue to be her friend. Emily is saying, "You never said that to me. Those words never came out of your mouth." So Brennan also brings up the fact that Emily made mention that, if something were to happen, then she said that she was going to make my life a living hell. And Emily, of course, says that she didn't say that. This is going to be a whole lot of back and forth, back and forth. And again, will we ever know who is being honest, who is telling the truth? I don't think we're ever gonna find out. So as Kevin is going on trying to interview this couple, they begin to talk about how Brennan during the season made mention of Emily being a negative person. And of course, Emily is saying that she's not negative. I personally don't think Emily is negative. She does seem to be a very bubbly person. But again, that's just what we see. He was with her when the cameras were off. So who knows? Maybe she did have some down moments. I don't know. But and they are also talking about how Brennan told her that, you are an attractive person, but I'm just not attracted to you. Emily tells Brennan that, he said that, but she didn't believe it to be true. She does get a little confidence. Emily got a lot of confidence about her because she definitely said, basically, "Who would not find me attractive? I am very attractive. Everybody finds me attractive. You, Brennan, on the other hand, are not. If you were to approach me in a bar, I wouldn't even talk to you." And she says that she's an 8.5 and he is a 6. I mean, this is just getting worse and worse. Why are we still they could have did this reunion in one part. We really didn't need 2 parts. They stretching it just like they stretched the entire season. So now all of the guys are on the stage with Kevin, except for Austin, who has a stomach flu. He has a stomach bug, so he is not on the stage right now. Good for him because he probably don't want to be on that stage, but nevertheless, the guys are out there, and Kevin kind of asked the question to the guys. Okay, you guys are saying that up until this point, the ladies have been having their say. You guys feel like you haven't had an opportunity to speak. Okay, what you want to say? And Brennan is the first one to kind of jump in, and he's just kind of talking about the fact that he had tried once again. He's talking about the relationship with he and Emily and how it just didn't work out. He just wasn't attracted to her. He did say, when they were on the honeymoon, he said that he kissed her one time because in a previous segment, she said that they made out a lot during the honeymoon. She's trying to drive the point that he was attracted to her. But he's still standing on his business and saying, no, not really, not really. So he's just talking about that. And then Kevin poses a question to Orion and says, you and Lauren got out early, and Orion is talking about, yeah, he did come back around because he wanted to make the process smoother. He wanted to build a relationship with Lauren in the sense to making the process smoother so that, they have to be in the same space just to make it easier for each other, and I think that's the reason he gave. Although in the season, it was looking like, every other day he was asking Lauren about getting back together. But here on the reunion, he is saying, he was just trying to make the process smoother by just being cordial to each other. But that's definitely not how it played out. And then it goes to Cameron. Cameron, is talking about the fact that, the ladies he feels like the ladies really didn't believe him when he left the show because of his heart condition. And what he is saying that the doctors told him that it wasn't something hereditary and that he literally, was having this heart problem because he had a broken heart. He did not want to have to tell everybody that he wanted a divorce or that they were going to be getting a divorce, and I guess when all of that was happening, it was traumatic for him and he had a flutter. And he ended up bringing to the reunion the tape of his EKG that he had. Now, you guys tell me if y'all believe that. What do you believe about Cameron? I do believe that, yeah, he was sick. I don't know. Do they give you a screenshot of your of your EKG? Maybe. I don't know. So at this point, everybody is back out on the stage except for Cameron, who has left because he was starting to not feel great. So he kind of left to get a little bit of rest. He may be back before the end of the reunion. And of course, Austin is still not feeling better. So Kevin is really asking the same question, just a different way. And that is, does anybody have anything y'all still need to say? What else needs to be said at this point? I mean, if you guys are really just dragging this on and on, but nevertheless, everybody they're kind of going around saying a little something. But I did want to make a comment about something that Brennan said. Brennan is actually saying, basically, he is apologizing because he feels like, although things didn't work out, he's not trying to really place blame. He wants to accept some responsibility for what happened between him and Emily. And he apologizes. And Emily says, "Thanks, but I don't believe you. And I don't think it's genuine. You're just doing this for this show. If you were really serious about being sorry and wanting to apologize, you would have done it by now." Again, I think that could have some of that stuff she did not have to say. I probably wouldn't have said it, but only because I would be out of words at this point. There is nothing left to say. So I really think that Emily still has some kind of feelings for Brennan because she is still very upset. And he was saying in their previous segment that basically he felt like he was being held hostage, that she would not allow him to leave because, like he said, she told him that if he tried to, she was gonna make his life a living hell. Did she say it? I don't know. We don't know because she said that she did not say that. But nevertheless, we can. Brennan pulled out a long time ago. Emily, I do feel, was still trying to hold on, and there's nothing wrong with that. She wanted her marriage to work. But at this point in this season, they're sitting on the reunion stage. There is no need for anybody to still be mad at each other. It's got to be a year at this point. They have got to be done a year. Now they do go over to Claire now, and even though Cameron is not on the stage, he does ask her, "Okay, do you have anything you want to say?" And she begins to speak. But what's interesting is Emily jumps in and says, she feels like no one, why does no one believe Claire? She feels like people continue to just dig and dig and dig at Claire and are okay with the things that Cameron has said, but nobody believes Claire, and she doesn't think that's fair. And so Kevin said, "Well, who?" And Emily says, "Well, you." As a matter of fact, and I'm shocked. Kevin was shocked. I'm shocked. I don't see what Emily is seeing in this moment. I don't feel like, people were treating Claire any differently. So I'm not sure where this come from. Do you guys think that people are not believing Claire? So, they are still kind of going around and around. And again, Kevin is asking the same question, just in a different way. So he goes back to Brennan and says, why didn't things work out with you and Emily? And each time Brennan has a different answer. I mean, he's answering like he's telling his truth. I do believe that Brennan is being honest in his responses. He just number one, he just wasn't attracted to her, but he did say, I guess it was on their wedding night when he was meeting her friends. Her friends were telling him, well, she um, has not never been in a relationship. She has a lot of one night stands, and it was to him what looked like red flag after red flag after red flag, and he was turned off from jump just because of the things that Emily's friends were telling him. And they even he said that one of her friends told him that she was selfish. And to him he was just like, okay, that's just too much. He couldn't do it at that point. And of course Emily is like, none of my friends said that. Like, let's be for real. Well, at this point now Emily is crying and is saying, you know why didn't you just tell me this from the beginning? And he was saying he didn't want to hurt her. Again, I think that everything that could have went wrong in this season went wrong. I do think Brennan should have been honest, and instead of always saying, "Well, I don't want to look a certain way," he should have just went ahead and said what needed to be said. So Orion is now kind of jumping in. Nobody asked Orion a question, but he is jumping in and saying to Brennan, that this is really hard. And, he basically is saying that as far as the process is concerned, he really hated that everything, turned out the way it did. And so Chloe's like, you know what, that ain't good enough. Now we're sitting here, we seeing that these ladies are hurt and there is so much anger and bitterness and resentment on this stage. And she has never even been in a position where where she's witnessed so much of this in one setting. And she has a really good point. Like, if everybody would have just not put that plan together in the very beginning and just did the process as the process should be done, things would have worked out. And even if the guys, when they first saw the ladies, didn't find them attractive, or if they found them attractive but then they really couldn't get with the personality, so they was like, nah, I don't think so. You got to keep in mind that this is married at first sight, and what you get you may not like initially, but the experts put you guys together for a reason. So I would say the best thing to do is just go through the process unless something crazy is going on. So, as Lauren and Orion are now sitting with Kevin, Kevin asked Orion, he goes back in the early part of the season when they were still on the show. Mind you, they weren't on the show but probably 2 episodes, but before they gave up. And they had the whole conversation at dinner on the honeymoon about when was the last time you had sex. And Orion said for him, he hadn't been intimate in over a year. And Lauren said at that point it had been 2 months to the day. And that is really what turned Orion off. Like, he at that point said that he was going to take sex off of the table, and Lauren felt judged. So they were showing that clip, and Orion apologizes to Lauren. Now, I believe that this is not the first time he apologized to her. I believe they actually showed him apologizing during the season as well about that conversation. But he does apologize multiple times now as they're sitting on this stage at the reunion. And Lauren does say that she believes that he is genuine, but that does not change how she feels and how hurt. It doesn't take away the hurt. But she does believe him when he apologizes, and he does say, that it's not he did not intend to make her feel judged in any way. That could be a cultural thing for him too, but nevertheless, he did apologize. I felt like he was sincere, and Lauren does too. And then they were talking about, Kevin asked Lauren, okay, so no, Kevin asked Orion, do you feel you left the process too soon or left the marriage too soon? And Orion says, well, I left the process too soon. The process is the marriage, Orion. I mean, however, Lauren does say, no, he looks at it as two separate things, but technically it's not. The process and the marriage in this case is one and the same, and you cannot separate the two. But he does feel like he did not give the process a chance because he realizes that there were situations where the therapists, the experts do come in and kind of help with things. And I don't even think they made it to that point. So Kevin asked Lauren, do you feel like you have moved past this relationship? Are you good? And she said that she has moved past it. She's in a really good place. She does not desire to be friends with Orion at all. And she did say that they don't speak, and she's completely fine with that. Um, and then she says, I wish him nothing less than what he deserves. Now, those of you who know what that means, y'all know what that means. Yeah, that she was not necessarily being nice. And I can't say that I blame her. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. I wish you what you deserve. That's just a nice way of saying, F you, basically. So now we have the experts on stage. Well, hey, experts. I mean, we haven't seen y'all a whole lot, but welcome to Married at First Sight. Well, the experts are saying that, they do feel bad that the ladies felt like, they could not come to them as as the ladies explained it, as the men were devising this whole plan about let's kind of rig the show, basically. In different words, but the experts was like, the ladies, why did you guys come to us? And Becca is the first one to speak up and say, we didn't know how. We didn't feel like we could, and it didn't feel safe, and all of these things. And Emily also chimes in and says, they basically that the men were manipulating them in certain words. And so Pastor Cal does say, so you're saying that you guys felt controlled and manipulated by the men. And Becca says, well, you can't say that broadly across all the guys because even though they all were in on this plan, each one was a little bit different. So they asked, well, who's the ringleader? And they say Cameron. I don't know. Again, guys, I'm going to ask y'all to drop down in the comments and let me know. Do y'all think it was this is just so odd to me. I don't I really don't understand it. And I really don't understand how, like the experts are asking, how did y'all allow the men to drag y'all through this like this? Y'all, yeah, it's not like y'all know them. And they were saying, well, we thought that if we went along with it, then the marriage would survive. Makes no sense at all. So now the experts are still on stage, but they have brought the men out. So it's just the experts and the men. And Dr. Pepper is going straight to it. Well, first, let me say that all of the men are back. So now we have Cameron, who looks well rested now. And we also have Austin, who shaved his beard because he had a stomach flu. Nevertheless, Dr. Pepper gets straight into it with Cameron because she has already been told that Cameron was the ringleader of this entire scheme. And so Dr. Pepper is like, "Okay, Cameron, what's up? What why you do this?" And he's like, "Wait, what you talking about?" And he does go on to say, "I did not convince anybody to do anything." And the men are nodding their heads in agreement. So it looks as if the men are saying, "No, he did not convince us to do anything." And but Cameron does admit that, hey, now whatever I kind of did in my own marriage for optics, I'm gonna own that. I'm gonna own that I was not honest with you specifically, Dr. Pepper, and I apologize to you. And she accepts his apology. And he does say, I can't recall if I wasn't honest with Dr. Pia and Pastor Cal, but if I was dishonest, I apologize for that. I just can't recall, but I definitely recall not being honest with Dr. Pepper. So he's apologizing. And so he goes on to say that the women, as you can see, they all came out to this reunion all in pink. They're the ones who be having plans, not us. Again, we will never know. We're never going to get the full truth of what really happened and why and how. We're not going to get the truth because the men are sticking together and the women are sticking together. And I'm sure at somewhere in the middle lies the full truth, but we're not going to find out what it is. So Kevin does ask Pastor Cal what are his thoughts on what happened during the season, and Pastor Cal is looking confused. He's looking up in the air like, I honestly, I can't tell you because the ladies are telling us one thing, the guys are telling us one thing, and just like I'm telling you guys, we don't know. This is confusing. You don't know who to believe. This is very unfortunate that this season went down like this. It didn't have to, but unfortunately, I hope this never happens again. I mean, we're on season 17 and this has not happened before. I'm gonna say that this is an anomaly, but let's hope and pray that this foolishness does not happen again. And, they're still sitting there talking, and Brennan makes a comment. He says that he wanted to apologize to Dr. Pia, and I don't know if you guys remember, but during the season when Dr. Pia was, in conference with Brennan and Emily, it got a little tight in there, and so Brennan is saying, "I really wanna apologize to Dr. Pia, when she saw 2 sides of me, and she saw the fun, energetic Brennan in the beginning, and then she saw a different Brennan when I felt I was backed into a corner and I was being controlling. So I just want to apologize to Dr. Pia. And Dr. Pia does accept his apology and says that, that's big of you, Brennan, and it is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Brennan admitting that he was controlling, which is one of the things that Emily said about him being controlling, him trying to control the narrative, that is huge. So now the experts are gone and the ladies and the men are all back on the stage. And I am just thinking that this needs to end. We're just not going to get down to the bottom. The ladies are in tears and crying. Emily has walked off of the stage. And what happened was Cameron was trying to tell basically what happened with the whole double date accusation. He was trying to explain that, but the ladies were immediately saying, "You're lying, you're lying." And Cameron is looking confused, and now Brennan, because the lie included Brennan, Brennan is trying to also say, no, it's not true. I never was going to sleep with anybody else. I was never going on the date. Cameron was just joking around when he said it about going on a double date. but the ladies are there's so much of a breakdown, and now, Lauren is kind of jumping in, of course, to defend her friends and saying, Cameron, don't push me. You don't want none of this, Cam. Like, you better back down. But yeah, so it's just this is a lot. I think they need to. I don't even know how much more needs to be said. I don't even know how much more needs to be said at this point. Well, they are wrapping up this season, and they did want to end on a positive note. So, of course, they came back to Denver's favorite couple, Michael and Chloe, for some fun highlight reels from their season. And, ultimately, we don't ever want to see none of y'all again. Like, I don't even think I have followed, and usually I follow the cast members on socials. I'm not looking for y'all. Please don't show up on my feed. I don't care nothing about y'all. However, guys, guess what? Married at First Sight, Chi Town is up next. I don't know when it starts though. Did they say? Did I miss it? If you know when it starts, drop it in the comments and let me know. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys for Married at First Sight, Chicago when it comes on. Bye.